Right, welcome to this Tactica and Showcase video. It's for Space Marine Scouts. So you can take them for regular Space Marine chapters. I'm going to be referring to the Blood Angels Codex here, the new one for 8th edition. And so I'll get my stats and so on from the Blood Angels Codex. But you can equally apply this video to your Ultramarines or any of the Space Marine chapters. Dark Angels as well. Space Wolves, also they have Scouts. So it's the unit's available to pretty much all of the Space Marine chapters. And so in this video we'll take a look at the unit. I've just been freshly painting up some Scouts for my new Blood Angels list. They're virtually complete, so I'll show them to you here in this video. And then we'll take a look at the tactics here as well for them. They're a unit that I think is going to be very, very helpful. There's a big help that they can be. I'll show you what I mean as we go along, but we'll take a look here at the models first of all. So it's the first time I've ever painted Scouts. It's been a long time coming. I've never really seen a need for them, and I was wondering which chapter I would end up painting them for, but it's worked out that it's the Blood Angels that I'm going to require their assistance. So there's a squad of 5, like so. I'll zoom in just a moment so you can take a closer look at how these have come out. And then there's another squad of 5 just here with pistols and combat knives. And then there's another squad just here. He comes to there. Another squad of 5. And this squad, that squad with bolters, this squad with bolters, and then one of them's armed with a heavy bolter as well. So this is how they've come out. An old sculpt here. These Scouts have been around for a long time in plastic. But as you can see, you can still get pretty good results. I'm really happy with how these have come out. I was really put off by Scouts thinking I'd have to paint cream overalls. But then I saw the Armageddon set artwork that featured the Scouts, and they had them in grey, and it looks so much more serious, so much more professional, I think. So I've done them in grey just there. And quicker to paint as well. I actually sprayed these a bit different to the regular painting tutorial. Same principles that you'll see in the video, the painting tutorial here on the channel, but instead of spraying them red, I sprayed them grey, uniform grey by Army Painter, and you can see that gave you a nice foundation for painting the black, silver, the brown, the black. The grey I actually just left, that is the original colour, with just a simple Agrax Earthshade wash over the top, and that is it, that's all I've done, so saved plenty of time there. And the red actually painted nicely onto the grey because it's not too dark. A couple of coats of that and it's worked out fine. So the only thing left to do is put a bit of flock on the bases, and then the insignia, which I'm still figuring out what to do. Try and see if I can get a Blood Angels symbol on here, and then I think a squad marking goes onto this shoulder pad just there. But other than that, they're finished. Quite happy how the faces have come out. They're all blonde, these guys. All my Blood Angels are blonde. So I've done them all in blonde just there. Nice poses you can get. So squad leaders, I've kept the bolters on them and I've marked him out with a sword or a long combat knife. Just there, show you different poses you can get. This guy with the cool goggles there. This is the heavy bolter, more muscly guy. Also, I've done the flesh here for the arms, but also saved a bit of time as they're all wearing gloves, and so I just painted them in black. Saves me having to paint all those fingers. That saved time. I was surprised at how quick. Got these done about twice as fast as I was expecting, so happy enough with them. Showing another squad leader here, quite happy with this one here. It's quite cool. Now this isn't a unit I'm expecting to wipe opposing units out, but they will be helpful. 2 important functions for them in the new Blood Angels list, which we'll talk some tactics here in this video. This is the pistol with the, see I painted the little gems here on the end. Love the green, it's a lovely spot colour to use for Blood Angels, so I made sure I got that in just there. This is a squad leader here with a chainsaw. Like so, it's giving you a good idea of how these have come out. So 15 in total. So 5, I'll just move these to the side here, 5 with their pistols and combat knives. Went for a little bit of variety. 5 here with bolters. I had to keep the points cost down. You can go for further upgrades of these, but I just went for cheaper squads just because I was really stretched for points with this new Blood Angels list. So we'll look them up here. So what's helpful for these, this is the first point, is that they come under the troops section. And so one of the big bonuses for Scouts is they are a cheap way to get a battalion detachment in 8th edition. And now, especially with 8th edition, the big FAQ1, you get 5 points now for a battalion. So to fulfill that, you need 2 HQs and 3 troops minimum. And so to get that for Blood Angels, one of the reasons was lacking in command points. So there's a major boost, a major bonus for my Blood Angels force. I've been able to get a battalion, and now with big FAQ1, it's even more helpful. So I've gone for the 3 squads of 5. You can have nice small squads. So you get 1 scout, sergeant, and 4 scouts. Pretty much the same stat line as a regular Space Marine, except your armour is not so good. Drop to a 4+ armour save instead of a 3+. But still, other than that, they're good. They keep their toughness. They're still toughness 4, strength 4, still armed with bolters, still hitting on 3+. There was a bit of an issue. Some codexes, they used to be 3+ to hit in the older ones. Then they changed to 4+, so it's so good. Now they're back to hitting on 3+ again in weapon skill and combat. So Scouts are good, I reckon. They're pretty good. Now, for troops then, a scout squad costs, a squad member costs 11 compared to a tactical marine, which means for tactical marine you're pretty much paying an extra 2 points to get your free up armor save, so 13 points a time. But I was so stretched for points, I needed the cheapest option possible. Intercessors 18 points a time, so scout squad 11 points, so 55 points for this squad here with the bolters. 55 points, that's hardly anything, and you've got one of your slots filled out for troops just there. So you can expand the squad up to 10 if you wish. The sergeant there just gets an extra attack, 2 attacks for him. They do come with the bolt pistols, bolt guns, frag and crack grenades. So they're still equipped just as good as regular Space Marine, which is brilliant. So you do have options here. The Scout Sergeant may replace his bolt pistol with an item from the melee weapons. So you've got access to your melee weapons, power swords and so on. Pistols also, bolt pistol, growth pistol, hand flamer and so on, or hand flamer for the Blood Angels. Again, for saving points, I haven't bothered, but that flexibility is there. I wouldn't bother with close combat weapons because he's going to be on 2 attacks. It's not very much, and I think you should save the points for other things. And then the other major function for these is to give him my battalion detachment, and then also they are screening units for my more expensive units, things like predators. So predators, vulnerability for them is if they are contacted in close combat, either destroyed in close combat or even if they're contacted and they have to pull back, they'll not be able to shoot. So the big issue for these is trying to keep enemy units away. One of the main dangers is deep striking units landing nearby and shooting at these, or landing just over 9 and then trying to charge them. And so, to protect my more expensive tanks, which I do have a number in my new list, and that's to have screens of scouts. And even if these scouts are hidden, they're like, say they're hiding behind a rocky outcrop just here, it denies the opponent landing too close. A nice screen that I can move these out and just cause trouble for the opponent if they're thinking of deep striking in and trying to get to these. The key is to try and keep these firing for as many turns as possible, and so to try and protect them, I've got these. Now, they're not bad, they're tough enough, armor saves, they're okay. So if a Horde's unit gets nearby, they can shoot and charge and cause some kind of trouble. They can offer some kind of resistance. So that's why I've gone for a little bit more close combat ability with these, because with the pistols you can go for any model replaces bolt gun with a sniper rifle, and a Astartes shotgun or a combat knife. So you drop the bolt gun, you take the knife, keep the pistol. So you've got ability to shoot. Remember, they can throw grenades. The pistol shots at range 12, and then in combat you take the knife, which means if I fight I get an extra attack. So 6 attacks in total becomes 11 attacks. Just a bit more punch to them in close combat. Again, if they're dealing with very soft sort of hordes, just gives them a bit more ability in close combat to fight. Again, I'm not expecting miracles from these. They're just there as a screen, and a cheap way to bulk out my battalion, and that's pretty much it. But it's more of a tactical use, I think, for scouts. That's the way I'm playing them anyway. I think generally as well, you can't equip them too heavily. You can't give 3 of them plasma guns and so on. So you can never really expect too much from them. They're always going to be really a scouting, supporting type unit, and that's about as good as they'll get, no matter how well you equip them. So then this one, cheaper option here with just the bolters. 5 shots coming from them, but 10 shots within 12, and the ability to charge in and so on and fight with them. And then here with this squad, same configuration except I've upgraded one to take a heavy bolter instead of a bolter. Let's start for a little bit of long range fire support. Nice range on the heavy bolter, range 36. Nice strength 5. -1 the AP, so pretty good for picking off enemy targets, like infantry, like Chaos Space Marines and so on. Which is here. One scout may replace his bolt gun with a heavy bolter or a missile launcher. So the heavy bolters either 8 or 10 points. I think it's 10. Yeah, it's 10 points. The missile launcher is 25. Now, I think that's a terrible shame. The missile launcher, in my opinion, is very overly priced. For example, a las cannon's 25, and the las cannon's better than the missile launcher. What you're paying the extra, or you're paying because you're paying the same amount, it's for the ability to fire frag and crack rounds. Is the reason why they've done that. Range 48, heavy D6, strength 4, no minus on the AP and 1 damage. That's your frag, which I think is a bit of a waste really. The main reason why you take the missile launcher is the crack missile shot. Range 48, same as las cannon. Heavy one, same as las cannon. Strength 8 is less. Strength 9 for las cannon. -3 for las cannon. This is only -2. So enemy vehicles do have a fair chance of still getting a save. And then D6 damage. So it's a shame. The missile launcher is too expensive for these, and so I didn't include it in. But ideally, a good combination for them is to act as a screen, get a missile launcher guy in there, and they can take shots at tanks and so on. Or another really good option is just to try and equip all of them with heavy bolters. So heavy bolter in each squad. I didn't quite have the points for it. This was a stretch towards the end, but a 5-man squad with heavy bolter. It's pretty good. It's it's cheap. It's just 10 points added on, so 55 and 10, 65 points. Still very, very cheap. You've got a nice bit of firepower. The heavy bolter's cool. And then the opponent to try and kill that heavy bolter, he's got to try and get through the other 4. So I think it's a pretty good option. That's sort of the ideal combination I'd go for. You can stick them in cover, and then their save will go up to 3+. They'll be durable enough. For these guys, I'd hide them tucked away. If an enemy gets too close, you can get out and charge and shoot and assault and so on. And then whilst they're hidden, it just creates a null zone, an area that blocks deep strike units from coming in. So you can imagine my tanks lined up along the back line, like so, and then the scouts all spread out, making a nice screen to try and block any deep strikers from coming in. A very, very important role for them. It means it's important for my list because it means that they can be held back to do that job. I don't have to divert other elite units to try and swing back and counter-attack and attack the opponent's maid. So they're there to perform that duty. They're cannon fodder really if they're gonna get shot up and killed, I reckon, in most games, but that'll be their job. And if they're able to provide that screen, then that's mission accomplished for them. So that's the rain coming down outside at the moment. Some extra rules then, or some extra options. And so, yeah, a couple of pistols. So the other options is you can replace the bolt gun with a sniper rifle. And they look quite cool, scouts with sniper rifles. Not as popular, but again, I don't know, there's still potential with them. They're okay, and again, don't expect much from them. So yeah, what I'm looking for is camo cloaks, which we'll cover in just a moment. You have to pay 3 points for that to give them camo cloaks. And then So all of that starts to push up the points. So that's a 5-power score. That's 15 points extra you have to add on for that. And then the sniper rifle is 4 points. Yeah, times 5, it's another 20 points you have to add. All of a sudden you're starting to push up into sort of 80 points, and you're starting to get away from that very cheap option. So you've got to be careful. If you really want the sniper scouts, then take them, but it will cost you a bit more for that. The camo cloaks are pretty good. If you have a camo cloak, you can add 2 to saving throws made for models in the unit when they receive the benefits of cover instead of 1. So a 4-up armor save, stick them inside cover, becomes a 3+. With camo cloaks it'll be a 2+. That's a nice bit of durability for them. So that makes them pretty durable against sort of regular small arms firepower. If someone's firing bolters at you and las guns, that kind of firepower, and then a 2-up save, it's going to make you nice and durable. So if you want them to be durable enough, then that's helpful. As for taking sniper rifles, yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I'm just looking here. The way they've worded this, war gear options, camo cloaks has been put separately to sniper rifles. You don't have to take sniper rifle and camo cloak. So you can take your snipers and not give them camo cloaks. But also, I think you can give them camo cloaks for any combination that's here. So I could give these units camo cloaks, I think, the way this is working out here. So if you want these to scout around and operate in cover, keep them in cover and moving around. They'd be quite hard to get rid of. Yeah, it's interesting that, if you're prepared to pay the points for it. You know, 15 points basically for camo cloaks for those, but possibly prove helpful. It would definitely add to their durability. But regardless, camo cloaks or not, I'll strive to keep these in cover, behind cover, in cover, hidden, to try and add to their durability, especially if you try and provide a screen. If you just lay them out in the open, it's going to make it a whole lot easier for your opponent to try and remove that screen. But if they're hidden, you know, not too fussed. If this unit doesn't shoot all game, but it provides that valuable screen, I'd see that more valuable than them trying to get involved in the fight. So that's the angle that I'm coming from with these. You can go for combat squads if you've got a unit of 10. We've covered heavy bolter missile launcher and camo cloaks just there. Now the sniper rifle is range 36, which is nice. You could sit nicely back, out of range of regular bolters and las guns and so on. That's going to help with their durability as well. They're going to be out of range of a lot of small arms infantry fire. And then the actual weapon itself is heavy 1, so you're looking to stay still, find a nice bit of cover and sit there. Strength 4. You can target characters, which is helpful enough, but characters now have so many wounds it's quite hard to actually get a kill. If you roll a 6+ to wound with the weapon, it is an immortal wound in addition to any other damage. It's not that deadly a weapon. It's not particularly scary, so I wouldn't rate it too much. But again, as I said earlier, not expecting too much from the scouts. So I'd take them for more of a army structure and screen is the 2 reasons I'm taking them. You do have concealed positions. When you set up this unit during deployment, it can be set up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches from the enemy deployment zone and any enemy models. Now, yeah, it's kind of helpful, that. And there's a potential trick here. So this isn't a deep strike, this is a deployment. So what you can do, I'm thinking it just out loud, is yes, you can go for your screen. If your screen needs to be put up, set up outside of your deployment zone, then that's options available, as long as you're not in the enemy deployment zone, as long as you're more than 9 inches away from enemy models. And there could be an opportunity with these when an opposing player makes a blunder. And that is, say they've got a land raider or something, and they set it up right at their deployment zone. Then, you then sneakily deploy a unit of scouts just over 9 inches away, and you get the first turn. You then move these guys in 6 and charge the land raider in combat, forcing it then to pull out next turn, and it can't shoot. That's interesting. I think you can do that. Set it up in deployment. Set it up anywhere on the battlefield that's more than 9 inches away from enemy deployment zone and enemy models. Yes, so you could sneak in a little attack there and use them tactically that way. That concealed positions is helpful, And I've got 3 units here. That's 3 opportunities to try and do that. Maybe in a tactical objectives game, there's some objectives in no man's land. I can just spread these units out to grab them early on. Another game, the relic, I can get these into position quickly on the relic, pick it up, and tactically use them as well. So that my overall conclusion here with scouts is tactically I think they're pretty helpful. I'm not going to expect much from them at all, but a little bit of support picking off the odd enemy model here and there, to reducing hordes down, but the main function for these is to get you that battalion, which is a massive incentive now with 5 command points available for that, and then also to act as a screen, and also opportunistic, to take opportunities that come up during deployment, and tactically in the game as well, as far as objectives are concerned and relics. These guys I think can perform very helpful indeed. Just adds options for my Blood Angels, and again for Space Marines it can add some nice options to it, and it's cheap. It's cheap to do it, but very quick and efficient way of generating a nice lot of command points for your force. So I'm not going to roll up any dice here in this game. It's just regular Space Marine equipment for these guys, but they're a cheaper unit. You don't get the armor save, but still a 4+ armor save is good. If you use cover, then you can enhance that, making it a free up save. Cheap little squads. If you lose them in battle, it's no big deal, but tactically I think very, very helpful indeed. A nice screen to use for your army, and as I've already said, a nice way of getting a battalion together and getting those precious command points for your force. That's the video. By all means, leave comments below, share your own combat tactics and tips and so on for scouts. Maybe there's some ways that you use them I haven't pointed out in this video, some clever stuff that you can do. Other options is, if you're looking to protect them more, is to put them in things like Razorbacks. Let the Razorback do a lot of the shooting and movement, and then use these later on to deploy, mop up and finish off opposing units. That's another option that's available for the scouts as well. Plus their unique land speed that they have, that'll be in the regular Space Marine Codex, not available for Blood Angels, but it is if you check the regular Space Marine Codex as well. That's another option that perhaps you might want to discuss that option, loadout and tactics, for as well in the comment section below. But if you're experienced of using scouts for any of the Space Marine chapters, then we'd love to hear your comments and feedback on that, and then that'll give people who are interested in using scouts or collecting one of those chapters, they can see how scouts can be used. But there it is, that's the video for Space Marine Scouts. Really glad to get these painted up. We're at the borderline now of getting a fresh Blood Angels list for the new Codex 8th edition. Keep a look out for that. But that's the tactics video for Space Marine Scouts. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.